So I saw that High Flow Day 71 did a 45-minute response to me, and I got, I don't know, 17, 20 minutes into it, gave up, and decided to make a response of my own. And as per his suggestion, instead of doing my splicing thing, I'm just going to be talking continuously. Unfortunately, I just realized I have to burp. I'm going to try to hold that in for the rest of the video, though, because I've been drinking these delicious Smirnoff strawberries, because he also suggested that I be nice, and I thought, what can make me nicer than drinking a nice, fruity, girly drink that has a little bit of alcohol? Now, I think he addressed the ethics of my conduct on YouTube and how I am sometimes nasty. Well, I'm not always nasty, that's for sure. With Piro, I explained that. I mean, I tried to explain that consciousness thing to him 2 different ways, and he just poo-poos past it because he just didn't think I would know any of that stuff, and he was just doing his thing. And, I let that go. But then he responded to me with his passive-aggressive nonsense, implying that I was sexist. And here's the thing, High Flow Day 71. Depending on the mood you catch me in, and how much shit I have to do, and how much other shit I have to make videos about, if you challenge me, I might just rise to the challenge and crush you. It's like this, my mom, she has this Pomeranian, and when I first met this Pomeranian, he just kept standing there barking at me and yapping and growling. And so I just had to go, "Listen, motherfucker, I am scarier than you." And, he goes, "Yap, yap, 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 yap." And ever since then, that Pomeranian is actually really nice to me, because he didn't really realize that I outmassed him by a factor of 15 or so until I demonstrated to him that perhaps, as dogs go, I am just a little bit scarier, so he better back the fuck up off me. He's really nice to me now. He lets me rub his belly. Dogs are like that. You assert your dominance, and the same thing goes with people. And here Piro is trying to assert his dominance, and I smacked his bitch ass down. And these things happen. It's just how we roll as a species. For all of the highfalutin ethics and yada yada, we really are just apes. And don't be hating on me because I'm effective as an ape. Okay, now what was the other points that you were making? Oh geez, there were so many of them, and that was only in the 17 minutes that I watched. Okay, I covered the ethics. The ethics of my behavior on YouTube, and also there's Seedling. I suppose I was nasty with her, and derived energy. But here's the thing. Ethics might be applicable to real-world things, such as like if I was going out there and like punching toddlers in the face or something. But this is just talking on the internet. This is what drives me insane about the Atheism Plus. People are always like, we need a safe space. Nothing safer than talking on the internet, okay? Like, if words can hurt you, you're too fucking dainty for this world. Every child knows the old... I'm gonna have to burp. Pardon me. This is why I like to splice my videos. I get my burping done while the other guy talks. Every child knows sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And people going around acting like words can hurt you are really part of the problem, because honest expression is absolutely vital for any sort of, anything worthwhile. Let's just say that. We need to be able to express ourselves. This is part of the reason I don't like political correctness. Like, yeah, if everybody's politically correct, then how do you know who the raging racists are? But words hurting. Buck up, okay? I can't even imagine what a person could say to me to hurt me. And, even if it did hurt me, I'd be like, well, I better not... better get over that, because that's embarrassing that the words hurt me. Hello? They're words. It's not like they're poison-coated knives. Okay. But now, we're going to get to you, High Flow Day 71. And here's the thing. I used to puzzle about the existence of nerds. Like, the stereotype of nerds is that really smart kid who's always getting picked on, who isn't very popular, but I always think to myself, well, if these nerds are really so smart, why do they let people pick on them? Why are they nerds, right? If a person is really so intelligent, shouldn't they be able to, recognize the existing social dynamic and integrate themselves into it in such a way that they wouldn't be picked on regularly? Like, if somebody bullies them, don't they realize that the short-term physical harm of getting into a fight and fighting back would more than pay for future instances of not being picked on? Like, that just seems like intelligence 101. Admittedly, my childhood was a bit atypical, so maybe I just don't understand the whole school construct. But there we go. And then I realized why nerds are like this. It's like this. Let's say that you're a nerd, you're just a smart kid, but you're not athletically gifted. You're kind of a spastic bumblefuck. And you read and you like knowledge, ideas, that kind of shit. And you realize that you're not all that popular, and then you start defining yourself by that intelligence and by that love of knowledge, ideas, reading, etc. And that's where the problem with defining yourself is. And I think that's a problem with having an internal dialogue, by the way, telling yourself a story about yourself. So a nerd, instead of developing the traits that are weakest within them, like athletic ability, physical strength, social ability, they instead just take the path of least resistance. They go with their reading and knowledge and nerdiness, and there you go, you have a nerd. It's a person who has failed to challenge themselves on their weaker areas. Now we get to you. Hi, Floday71, here's what I see about you. You were one of these kids. You really liked to read. You liked not just things about science or philosophical ideas, but you'd like to read stories and imagine them in your own intricate little world of imagination, like thinking through the possibilities of all the things that you have read, of all these stories, just sort of lost in your own head for hours, but you weren't particularly socially adept, nor were you what we would call athletic. And vis-a-vis the nerd paradigm that I just laid out, you didn't develop the social skills, you didn't develop the physical abilities, but you stuck to the thing you were good at. And here's what you did. What really ate away at you as you progressed through elementary school and then middle school, high school, what really bothered you is that you weren't relevant. You realized that all of the really interesting things that happened around you weren't a part of, and you weren't invited to. And it just ate away at you, but you thought to yourself, if I stick to this intellectualism, these philosophical ideas, if I just stay the course, one day I will be relevant. I will have my day. So you go to college, you go to graduate school, all the time thinking that you're just this far away from achieving relevance. But then you get through grad school and you realize you're just another cog in the academic machine. You're no great mind. You're just another faceless schmo in the blah scenery of academia. And it's pretty disappointing, and I understand that. That would kind of suck. I understand I'm not trying to be mean here, but you got to understand that my particular gift, it's more of a weapon than anything, and it's kind of hard to use constructively, but I am going to try to use it constructively here. So, you get on, YouTube is invented, you get on YouTube and you say, hey, finally, a worldwide network of people watching videos, there will be people who can appreciate my particular brand of thoughtfulness, I can become relevant, I can get people to listen to me. And so you start making your videos about the things that interest you, these philosophical concepts, ethics, etc., etc. And, you don't really make a great showing for yourself YouTube-wise. Alright? And hey, these things happen. Now we get to your problems with me. You see me and you realize that I do possess a degree of intelligence. The problem is you have built up this entire personality construct centered around your own intelligence and a number of additional rigid parameters that govern it. And you see my intelligence not governed by these parameters, and it's like fatal conflict, because you think that intelligence has this duty to be expressed in a certain way, i.e. the way that you do. And when you see it expressed in another way, it really kind of bothers you. It bothers you because you realize that your own personality is somewhat limited. Now here's the way people tend to operate psychologically. Instead of expanding your own personality paradigm, what you do is you attack me, because this is one of the mediating mechanisms of psychological homeostasis. Rather than look at your own shit and try to fix it, you rail against me as a way of cementing your own personality further into its own rut. But here's the thing, it doesn't do no good to rail against me because, I mean, I just don't care. I don't. But I will tell you, the limitations that the limitations that constrain your intelligence are entirely of your own making, and you can similarly deconstruct them. Instead of turning your focus toward me, try to think of how to take off the shackles that you've put on your own mind, that intelligent people must behave this way, must be ethical in these ways, must be rational and thoughtful in these ways. None of these things are true. The universe is wide open for the taking. All you need to do is find the courage to grab it, find the courage to leave your comfort zone that you have resided in for so long. You have defined yourself by this intellect, by this love of ideas, by this love of knowledge for so long that you don't realize that it can be expressed in any number of ways that are even entertaining to others. You don't have to be as you have always been. You can be better. You can be more interesting. You can even talk about the things that you like to talk about in a way that other people will listen to. All you have to do is realize that your personality is not set in stone, and with the proper application of willpower, you can change it. I suggest getting rid of that inner dialogue shit, by the way, because if you're always telling yourself a story of yourself, eventually you believe that shit. But no story of yourself is true, and even if it's true, it's not complete. So that's my little advice for today. This might have been totally incoherent. I drank a lot of those Smirnoff ices, and like I said, these long videos aren't exactly my forte. What's that? Forte isn't the right word. It's actually fort from the French, and forte is actually in music. Quit being pedantic. Have a nice day.